What's up guys, my name is Jake, and today we're going to be talking about the best portable battery bank for the Steam Deck. Okay, so there's a few important things that we need to go over before we get into all of the rigorous testing that I did on these batteries. The first thing is that when your Steam Deck is plugged in, it can take up to 45 watts of power. So if your battery bank doesn't output that much wattage and you're trying to play some intense AAA games, over time you're going to lose power in your Steam Deck. If you're playing something super light, you can most likely get away with 20 watts of power going in, but it'll charge very, very slowly, if at all. So just expect it to kind of extend the battery life that you already have rather than charge it up while you're playing. Second is the legal limit to bring a power bank on an airplane is 100 watt hours or 27,000 milliamp hours. So if you're planning on taking this on the plane, like I'm sure many of you are, then it's important to keep it under that limit or else they will not let you take it on the plane with you. Third is that the advertised capacity in milliamp hours really isn't the best thing for us to look at when we're looking at a power bank to buy. And that's because it depends on what voltage you're running at. You'll see on the back of this battery bank in tiny writing that even though the max rated capacity is 20,000 milliamp hours, the capacity is only 12,000 milliamp hours at 5 volts and only 5,000 milliamp hours running at 14.8 volts. So higher voltages are going to result in lower milliamp hours, which is why typically watt hours is going to be a better measurement for us to use. So the other aspect of this is that even though the companies are claiming a specific milliamp hours, there is going to be a loss of energy to heat, as well as if the company is using bad components in the battery, it can result in a lower milliamp hours than claimed. But depending on how efficient they are, some batteries are going to perform better than others. All right, now that that's out of the way, we can go over the batteries that we got here. So I actually got 4 of these batteries that we went and tested, and full disclosure that these 2 Baseus batteries were sent out to me for free, but Baseus had absolutely no input on this video, and they said I can give my complete and honest thoughts. So those 4 batteries do range from a budget option all the way up to a high-end battery bank that you can get. And we're going to start by going over the CharMast option. Comes in at about $35, and you can usually get it on sale for about 30 bucks. So this is actually a 99 watt hour battery, and it does come with a little sleeve that can hold the battery, as well as the 2 cables that it comes with. It comes with a USB-C to USB-A and a micro USB to USB-A cable. It has basically all of the ports that you could ask for. It's got 3 USB-A ports, a USB-C, a lightning in port for charging, and a micro USB port for charging as well. And it also comes with a little LED indicator so you can tell roughly how much battery life is left on it. Now this battery can only output 20 watts at the maximum, but I want to include a super budget friendly option for us to take a look at. Stepping up in the price category, we now have the Baseus 65 watt. And by the name, you can tell that it can output 65 watts of power. So this will be able to charge your Steam Deck no problem at the max charge rate. It is a 74 watt hour battery, and the ports that it comes with are 2 USB-A ports, 1 USB-C port, and a micro USB port as well. So this is actually the only battery bank out of the bunch that did not come with a little carrying pouch. It did come with a USB-C to USB-C cable that is rated for 65 watts, and it does have a nice little screen on it that can tell you how much charge is left, but it will actually also tell you the volts and amps while charging the battery itself and when you're charging another device. This comes at around $60 retail, but it is consistently on sale for around 48 to 50 bucks on Amazon with a coupon applied. Stepping up to the next price category, we have this nice little pancake of a portable battery bank. This is the Baseus 100 watt charger. And just like the other name, it can do up to 100 watts of output through its USB-C port. So this is also a 74 watt hour battery. It does come with 2 USB-A ports and 2 USB-C ports. This battery does come in at about 100 bucks, but I've consistently seen it on sale for around $80 to $85, depending on what kind of sale you can get on Amazon. So this does come with a little carrying pouch, and this guy also has a little screen on it, which is very nice. It can tell you the battery percentage remaining and the volts and amps while you're charging this thing up. Lastly, we got the Anker 737. This thing is a chunky monkey of a battery. Comes in at $150, but I have seen this on sale as low as $100 during some of the holiday sales. So this does come with a little carrying pouch and a USB-C to USB-C cable that is rated for 140 watts. And that's because this guy can output 140 watts, which is pretty insane. This also has probably one of the nicest screens you can get on a battery. It will tell you how much percentage is left, the wattage that it's outputting, as well as some other cool things like the temperature of the battery and how many cycles it's gone through. All right, so it's time to go over all the tests that I did and see how these batteries stack up against each other. So using this battery bank tester, this is actually a very useful little tool. It can give us all the information we need to be able to track the efficiencies of these batteries and exactly how much power they're outputting to each device. The first test that I ran was charging the Steam Deck from 10% all the way back to full while the Steam Deck was asleep. The two Baseus batteries and the Anker all took roughly the same amount of time to charge to full, while the CharMass took double the time. I thought this was a little strange because the CharMass can do up to 20 watts of power, and the other battery banks were only charging the Steam Deck at a little over 20 watts while it was sleeping. What was pretty interesting is that the Baseus 100 watt and the Anker had roughly the same efficiency charging. Getting 88 to 89% efficiency at this high of voltage is pretty good. I'm calculating the efficiency by taking how much watt hours the battery actually output and comparing it to the claimed watt hours on the battery. The Baseus 65 watt was down to around 75% efficiency, and the CharMass has a really tough 54%. The most likely reason we'd get a lower efficiency is from having low quality electrical components that are converting the voltages, as well as low quality batteries that aren't able to actually store the amount that they claim. AKA, it's looking like you get what you pay for. We're veering pretty close to 2 full charges with the Anker, while the Baseus 100 watt is about 1.5 charges and the 65 watt is 1.3. Coming in last, the CharMass is 1.25 charges, even though it had the largest rated capacity. So pretty cool results there, but we aren't only going to use these battery banks on the Steam Deck. So, how did they perform when charging other devices? Testing with my phone, the CharMass again had lackluster performance, getting 4.36 total charges at a 56% efficiency. The Baseus saw a boost in efficiency as it's easier to output the lower voltages to a phone, getting 4.43 total charges at around an 80% efficiency. The Baseus 100 watt and the Anker had excellent efficiencies at 96%. You'll get a little over 5 charges with the Baseus and a little over 6 with the Anker. And while charging my laptop, both of the Baseus batteries got it an extra 55%, while the Anker actually got it 65%. And I did that charging all with the MacBook Pro 16-inch USB-C to MagSafe connector, because that is the only way that you can get 140 watts from the Anker. And then the Baseus 100 watt was charging at 100 watts and the 65 watt was charging at 65 watts. All right, so let's talk about charging times real quick. So both the Baseus batteries took a little over an hour to recharge up, and that was at the rated 65 watt input that these batteries can take. The Anker had an insane charge time, charging up at 140 watts. And this dang CharMass battery took so long to charge up. I just left it overnight. I was like, screw it. I don't feel like watching this thing. It literally takes forever. So just note that if you want a full charge, you're gonna have to leave this thing overnight for sure. So here's some closing thoughts. The Baseus 65 watts is definitely holding its own in this price range. It has also become an extremely popular battery bank within the Steam Deck community, but for a good reason. And that's because it fits nearly perfectly with the Deckmate kit. So the Deckmate is basically a little mounting kit that attaches to the Steam Deck, so you can attach different accessories, for example, like a battery bank, or you can mount it to a V-mount accessory. It's pretty cool, but this battery fits perfectly with it, where really none of these other batteries can do that. So if you want a battery for that purpose, you can know that the Baseus 65 watt is going to be a pretty good buy. And the Baseus 100 watt is throwing pretty strong punches in the high-end battery market. Although it is a slightly smaller capacity than the Anker, it is also coming in at a cheaper price, and I feel like this form factor could be desirable for a lot of people. This little pancake form factor is honestly a pretty nice thing to have when you're just sliding this into a little, sleeve pocket that your backpack has. You don't really have to worry about it. It's pretty nice as opposed to the chunky monkey design that the Anker has. Now, if you want the highest end battery that you can get your hands on, without a completely outrageous price point, this is gonna be it. At $150, I don't recommend this. It's not my favorite purchase, but at $100, if you're looking for the best one you can get, this is honestly a great battery. It can do 140 watts in, 140 watts out, so it can charge up your MacBook super fast. And that's pretty much it. At $100, great buy. At $150, not the best buy. And yes, this thing does do 140 watts in and out, but if you don't already have a wall plug that can output 140 watts through USB-C, then you won't be able to take advantage of the super fast charge time that this gets. And the wall plugs that do 140 watts out are definitely not cheap. So if you really want that super fast charge time, definitely factor that into the price of this charger. All right, so really the only battery that I can't recommend is this Charmast battery. It looks really good on paper, and also the Amazon reviews are flooded with people that are just loving this battery bank. But the reality is that it's super inefficient. Sure, it's coming in at a really cheap price, but you're not really getting what you paid for. They're claiming that this is a 99 watt hour battery, when in reality, it's a lot more closer to 50 watt hours. But after using these battery banks for a while, if you're planning on getting this, or really any battery bank that can't charge really quickly or output enough to charge up the Steam Deck, in my opinion, it's not worth it. It's way better to just take that step up, get the Baseus 65 watt, and you're gonna have a much better experience for only a little bit more money. But this also has me thinking, if this Charmast battery is really terrible at this price point, are all batteries at this price point terrible? I think that would be a really interesting thing to check out a lot more of these batteries that are in the $20 to $35 range and see, is this the standard? Is a 50% efficiency what they're going for just because they're trying to cheap out on the battery, or are there actually good batteries in this price range? So if you'd like to see that video, definitely shoot me a comment down below, or if you want me to test any other batteries out there, hit me with a recommendation and I will check them out. All right, that's all I got. It took me an insane amount of time to test all these batteries over and over. So if this helped you out, it would mean a lot if you could hit the like button on this video. As always, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Happy to answer them. And that's all I got. Peace.